And here we go. Welcome in to another edition of Bucky and BK. Today is Thursday, July 9th, 2026. And the Buck and I are with y'all for the next 2 hours. On today's show, plenty of Texas football conversation. We wrap up Phil Steele's position unit rankings ahead of the 2026 college football season. We'll talk some SEC football as well. How many SEC teams can actually win the national championship in 2026? We've got some NFL conversation to get into. Mark Cuban is accusing the new Mavs owner of freezing him out. We'll talk Big 12 media days with our old friend Ari Tempkin. And we've got some World Cup chatter, the BBK news, and why today's not so bad as well. Plus, your Buck-ons and Buck-offs. It is a Buck-off Thursday edition of the program, after all. And we appreciate y'all spending some of your Thursday with us. Buck-on to you, my man. How are you today?
I'm doing fabulous. Big Buck-on to World Cup soccer. I know we didn't get it done, but it's been kind of fun. This has been a very interesting World Cup. I mean, it's kind of kept me past what the United States does. You know, with some of the other teams that are involved, France and Argentina and some of the small countries, it's kept my attention. I mean, I'm not done watching it by any means. I'm looking forward to seeing it, and then just to listen to where we need to go, like we do every 4 years. What do we need to do in the United States to build up our soccer program just a little bit? It's the same old story. It all starts back to youth soccer and what we can do, and do we need to send them to, like training camps and stuff like that. And, now that there's MLS teams, those MLS teams have camps and places, just has to grow. And that's what we say every 4 years. It just has to grow. It doesn't really change. It's the same old story.
I think the old conversation, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you had 3 kids play college soccer, so you've been way more involved in the sport than I have over the course of your life. But it used to be we didn't invest enough, and now it's too expensive to play.
Yeah, it's expensive. Well, you're not going to get inner city programs if you want those type of kids to play soccer. They're out in the suburbs, and their parents aren't being able to afford $4,000 in soccer fees to join a club. That's not going to happen. So that's part of the same old story if that's what you're looking to do. But there are good enough athletes in our soccer programs and our youth programs, period. And it's just, what do you concentrate on? Hand-eye coordination, things like that, the ball skills. It's just, it can't be like little, when you go to Europe, it's not like little Johnny runs around with his buddy Ken and they play, they just kick the ball around on a youth soccer team and have fun on it. Those things are like hardcore deals when they go to them. So it only matters what's important to us. And it's the same thing. It hasn't been important to us. It gets important to us every 4 years.
We're desperate to be good at this sport. I saw 42 million people watched the U.S.-Belgium disaster. That's more people that have watched any college football game, any NBA game, any MLB game, or any NHL game in history. Only the NFL playoffs can beat that this century. So there's a lot of interest, a lot of folks paying attention to Team USA. A lot of people let down by Team USA in that ugly performance in Seattle the other night. But I think the fan base, Gen Pop here in this country, really would like for us to be good at this sport like we are in seemingly every other. But for whatever reason, it hadn't happened, and we haven't been able to break through that wall.
Yeah, you're right. I guess I want to say we get closer, but it's kind of the same old story.
We're not closer. I mean, we keep losing in this round, and we weren't even close in this one.
No.
So you can't sit here and say, like, yeah, we're on the precipice. We're right there. It was, no, we still have a long way to go.
Yeah, we don't have enough stars. We have one, we had one guy, that everybody thought was Christian Pulisic. When he was that guy. Well, he's not that guy for you. He's dead to you.
Well, he wasn't that guy for anybody in this World Cup.
No, he's been.
And if you're like me and you only pay attention every 4 years, I'm not seeing that guy is a star.
No.
I think everyone who told us he was a star is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he has won a premier championship, right?
Yeah, he was a part of a Chelsea team that won. Now he's
Yeah,
not like the best player or anything like that.
no,
He's an important piece. I know he's good. I'm being facetious, but he stunk in the World Cup. And as we talked about on Tuesday, the day after the match, if your star players don't show up in big spots, then you're in trouble.
yeah, and what you said, some of the things we were talking about that dude, they were really saying nationally. That interview at the end of that has come back. That's going to come back to haunt him.
Oh,
That
it
is
already is. He's getting dunked on by
wow.
everybody. And you've got former men's national team and women's national team players taking shots at him. It's not just like the casuals on the couch who are
No,
like, yeah, you stink. It's people who played the game, people who have represented this country. Look, it's an opportunity for Christian Pulisic. He's still young. He can put this behind him.
sure.
You would think he's going to be a part of our World Cup roster in 4 years. So this is a moment for him that can make or break his career. And I obviously hope it does the former. But yeah, he's taking it on the chin, and I think rightfully so, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, as they say, when there's 7 commercial and 6 of them, his face is in the
Oh,
commercial.
dude, he's the worst player they've ever put on a McDonald's cup. They got like Messi on there. They got Ronaldo on there. They got Mbappe on there. And then Pulisic, like, really? I know he's the American and we got to put an American on there, but oh, come on, man.
We couldn't put the goalkeeper on there.
Oh, don't even get me started with that guy.
We couldn't put the Harvard guy on there. He couldn't get on the list. But I didn't realize Pulisic was taking. I know we criticized him. I know he's going to get a little bit, but boy, there's daggers being thrown at that dude for that interview.
Yeah.
He may have should have thought about what he was just thought about how he came across in that. He came across as such a wimp.
Yep. Well, it was the interview and the way he played. I don't think people would care as much about the interview if he had scored like 4 goals for the Americans in the World
Right.
Cup. He just no-showed. And then I think I still have the sound right here for those who maybe don't know what we're talking about. Here was Christian Pulisic the other night talking about the injury. Obviously, he left the match against Belgium early after the Belgians scored their 3rd goal on that disaster by our goalkeeper, Matt Fries, who froze up in the biggest moment in his life. Here was Pulisic there.
I know you were in a lot of pain, had to be subbed off. What were you dealing with, fighting through?
Yeah, I mean, I just twisted my ankle and just sprained my ankle. I mean, it's just frustrating to end like that, of course. But now I got time to rest, so hopefully it'll be okay.
Good time to rest. I'll see you in 4 years.
Now time to rest, so it'll be okay. It's like he just made it seem like he did not care that he let his country down, and his country just lost one of the biggest soccer matches in its history. It was so nonchalant. It was so, I don't care. And that's what was going to be the lasting image, sound, video, all the above of Christian Pulisic's 2026 World Cup.
Well, he'll be stronger and more fit in 4 years.
Well, we'll see.
How's
Buck
that?
off to that dude right now.
Yeah, he's going to get the buck off for sure. Boy, they are giving it to him. I thought we were the only ones giving it to him. Man,
we started it. We're taking credit for it. We did it before it was cool.
Man, they are just throwing the hammer at that poor dude.
Yeah.
Good day to the soldiers at Fort Hood, Texas, the soldiers in the state of Texas, and all those that fight for us each and every day. Thank you for what you do. We do appreciate it. To you and your families, please, please be safe out there. Hey, it's less than 100 degrees today. Yesterday, 100. We got there.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. We got to 100 yesterday. Only 1 degree cooler today. 99. That's all right. Were you able to tell the difference?
Dude, it was brutal yesterday. I went for a walk at like 5:30, like not even the hottest part of the day, and at 5:30, at 7:30, I don't even know what time it was anymore. And it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. We're at that point. That's how it goes. And I guess now we're at the triple-digit days too.
Yeah, I mean, during the summer, last summer at this time, we probably had about 10 of these already. We've gone through a couple of these, so we're just getting there now. But now we've got this heat dome over us where it's going to be, where the temperatures even next week, BK, will start to come down into the 80s. How about that?
There you go.
And then we can hopefully we'll get some rain during the week. Maybe not on the weekend. Let's pass up the weekend and not get it on the weekend. But looks like Monday and Tuesday, I mean, there's some that it looks like 70 and 80% on Monday and Tuesday.
Well, I don't care what the other people say. What, are you no longer a weatherer, or are you just
I'm a weatherer.
reporting what you
Monday,
see from others?
It's going to rain on Monday. I don't want to predict the rain on Tuesday because, Tuesday is very important to me. It's a golf day, and it never rains on a golf day. It just doesn't.
I just don't care for you to regurgitate what you're seeing on your app or on your television. You are a weatherer, at least you claim to be. Don't tell me what everyone else thinks.
You will have rain on Monday.
All right. I like it. I like it.
Tuesday, better not rain.
Better not rain. Yeah, you're sending the message to God.
No, I don't mean the word better not to God. It's please don't do that to me.
You're on a mission from God to make it not rain on Tuesday. All right. Well, let's dive into some Texas football conversation here, Bug. Over the last couple of days, we've spent some time breaking down Phil Steele's 2026 college football preview magazine, and we'll continue to do that over these next few days and weeks because there's so much to unpack from this $55 plus shipping and handling magazine that
shipping and handling.
That ain't that expensive yet. But we've talked about his position unit rankings. We've gone through the offense. We've gone through the defense. So that leaves us with just the third phase, the special teams individual unit rankings ahead of the 2026 college football season. And we spent a lot of time talking about special teams this offseason, last year during the season, the previous year during the season. I'd like to get your thoughts on where you think Phil Steele has the Texas special teams unit ranked. Again, this is around the country, not just around the SEC, ahead of the upcoming season.
Okay, I've got it. Well, you got the best punt returner in college football right now.
Mm-hmm.
You've got new kicker, new punter, yet to be seen. You've got a whole slew of athletes going down and covering and doing stuff like that. I'm hoping, BK, they're in the top. You know me, I like to be in those 20s, but I better be careful. How about 33? The big 33.
Is that where you would put them, or is that where you think Phil Steele has put them?
I'm going to put them at 25.
So you would say 25, but you think Phil Steele has 33?
Yes.
Higher.
14.
Higher.
Not 10.
Higher.
Get out of Dodge. 7.
Price is right. Higher. Higher.
Number 5 in the nation.
Higher.
It's the number 3 special teams in the country.
Keep going.
The punt returner, I like him. He's not going to just whip up. They're the number 1 special teams in the country.
The number 1 special teams unit in the country resides in Austin, Texas.
Does he understand that penalties matter too? Because they're going to hold somebody or push somebody in the back there, Phil.
I don't have autofocus on the camera, so I'm not doing much good to anybody watching. I can't really prove this, but
the number one.
Trust when I say that in Phil Steele's college football preview magazine, he has Texas as his number 1 special teams unit in the sport. The little blurb that he gives, quote, "The Horns have been top 5 in my special teams rankings in 3 of the last 4 years." We just stop right there.
Yeah, really. He can stop there.
So I saw that, I read that, and I'm like, 3 of the last 4 years, because Texas was great at special teams in 2022 when they were 8-5. I thought they were great in special teams in 2023 when they won the Big 12 and made the 14 college football playoff. Remember, that's when Bert Auburn was good. You had Keelan Robinson on the team.
Like blocking punts.
Yeah, there was a lot of good in those 2 years, but 3 of the last 4. So I'm sitting here thinking, boy, the special teams was a disaster in 2024. And then outside of Ryan Niblett, and I mean, he was amazing. Like you said, the best punt returner in the country. But I thought outside of him, the special teams was not that great.
No.
Phil Steele had the Longhorn special teams ranked 4th in America last year. Not like before the year. Like after watching the entire season, He says that Texas had the fourth best special teams unit in college football in 2025. And that to me means he really cares about touchdowns and he doesn't care about penalties, or I don't know, the fact that Georgia had that onside kick that was a freaking dagger in that game in Athens that Texas was totally caught off guard by. All the dumb penalties on Warren Roberson and everybody else. Like, did none of that matter to Phil Steele? Did he not see any of that?
None of that fake stuff mattered.
I guess not. And the kicker was solid. Like, Texas was better at special teams last year than they were in 2024.
Yes.
But they were not a top five. Like, as great as Ryan Niblett was, hell, he won Texas a couple of football games. I don't think he did enough to offset all of the other issues that Texas had to make them a top 4 unit in the sport.
Yeah, I mean, when I think of top units, I think of at least a great kickoff or punt returner. I think of solid coverage, not a lot of penalties whatsoever. I mean, really, special teams is big for penalties. I mean, as you can change the game with the special teams play, you can screw up the game with a penalty in that, where it hurts you on a return like we've seen before, or it hurts you, giving somebody a first down. And your kicker and punter have to be great. They were okay. They weren't great.
Yeah, they were good. I mean, maybe that's what this is. Like, Phil Steele, he watches a ton of college football, but he's got to pay attention to every team around the country.
Sure.
You and I pay way more attention to Texas, and we watch more Texas than he does. So my guess is when he's doing these rankings, he's just looking at stats. Like, Mason Shipley was good, the Texas State transfer. He was 20 of 24 on field goals. Like, he was solid. The punter, Jack Bowmeister, the Aussie, he was pretty good. Had good numbers. Ryan Niblett, great numbers. So you just look at that. Those are like the 3 most important positions on special teams. Your return man, your kicker, and your punter. Then I guess it's easy to see or to think that Texas was probably awesome at special teams. But their kickoff return game was terrible. That's not Ryan Niblett. And again, all of the penalty. I mean, this was the second most penalized team in America. It wasn't all special teams, but they had some costly special teams and fractions.
And they didn't put enough pressure. They didn't block enough field. Well, they got some tips on field goals. They needed to block some punts. I always think of the great special teams as having that guy as part of your special teams that's going to come through and give me at least 2 block punts a year, just 2. Not asking for 10. Give me 2 really good ones. They had some. Didn't they have some field goals tipped?
Oh, wait a second. We didn't even bring up the blocked punt in the Florida game, did we?
No.
Did we forget it? I know we're all trying to remove that game from our memory banks. Maybe some of y'all have successfully done that.
About it.
A block punt that turned into a safety in the loss to Florida. To me, a top 5 special teams unit in the nation doesn't make those mistakes.
Yeah, and that's why I asked Chip. I said, with some of these kids that they're recruiting, some of these names that we're talking about, all these linebackers, those guys are going to have to – those guys they need to be special on special teams, not just, he's a great one. He's a freshman, but you've got some really good sound guys already ready to go, and that player plays sparingly. He can't be spared on special teams. They have to be in there making your team that you're trying to get to a national championship better on special team. They can't be just used on the field for backing up a position guy. They have to be special on the special teams.
I agree. I feel like, based on the conversations you and I had, but I didn't think we were alone with our critiques of the special teams last year. I don't think anybody believes the unit as a whole was that good. I feel like that's an area Texas needs to improve this season.
Yeah, and once again, BK, like you said, penalties are crap on special teams. You get penalized on that, a return that Niblett was great, but 2 others he could have really been unspecial, but somebody pushes somebody in the back, and you see that. I mean, those things are killers.
I just looked it up. Texas had 14 special teams penalties last year, which they played 13 games. I don't think you should be having one of those per game. Now, obviously, They had more penalties on offense and defense, but you have a lot more offensive and defensive plays over the course of a game and over the course of a season. But, you average more than 1 penalty per game on special teams. Again, you had a bad punt that was blocked in the Florida game that turned into points. You had the fake or the onside kick against Georgia that absolutely killed any momentum, any chance that you had of coming back in that game. I don't know, spilled milk, I guess we're crying over because that's last year. But Phil Steele, I think his rankings are flawed. If he's putting Texas at number 1 because he thinks they've been a top 5 special teams unit in 3 of the last 4 years, I think that's crazy.
On his list, yeah.
On his list, yeah. So more on his blurb. I just read the first sentence and we had to go on that tangent because I think it made both of us scratch our heads. This year's unit features All-American punt returner Ryan Niblett and key additions in the kicking game. Place kicker Gianni Spedic hit 31 of 42 field goals the last 2 years at Ohio, and Max Cimento had a 40.7 net last year at Florida State. Gianni Spedic was at Memphis last year. He was at Ohio the 2 years prior to that. So now I'm not even sure Phil Steele knows what he's talking about. Like, come on, Phil, you getting old on us? You losing your memory here?
Wow.
It's so look, I mean, you've got 3 new special teamers. Like you said, it's not only the kicker and the punter that are new. Now, these are guys who have played college football and have had success.
Sure.
So it's not
A
like
holder,
a freshman here. You also have a new long snapper, same situation.
Yes.
He's played before, but you've got 3 new guys. I obviously would love Texas to have the number 1 special teams unit in the country. I'd love for Phil Steele to be right, but I think he's crazy. I'm with you. I wouldn't have Texas in the top 10 here. I'd have him in the, because Ryan Niblett's there, I think you got to put him somewhere in the top 20.
Yes, for sure.
But I sure as heck wouldn't have the Longhorns the best at this in the nation. It's crazy.
I think because of when we talk about recruiting classes, when you got talent like this, BK, you got to be really good in your special teams. That can separate a lot of things for you. We're talking about scoring more. Well, that's field position and everything else, and you got to have. And it's not so much a great athletic guys. You got to have smart guys on special teams. Know how to make blocks. Know when not to push. Know when to just get your hands up and let a guy run around you. They just seem to. They seem to find ways to screw up the special teams more than it helps you. But Niblett really sets them apart. That guy's been fabulous. And even, it's not all guys on the punt return. I mean, some guys have made some great blocks, but these great athletes have to be on your special teams, and they got to be smart too and what they do.
Yeah, I agree. I think Texas needs more from that. I would like to see, again, Jeff Banks has done a really good job in some years with the Longhorn special teams unit. But I think the last 2 years, again, you say outside of Ryan Niblett, you can't ignore him. He's amazing. And obviously Jeff Banks deserves credit for that. But I think there's definitely room for growth. And I would like to see Texas get better in that third phase.
I'd like to see them get better in putting more pressure on teams that punt. I always like that. I'm not saying you got to block every one of them, but at least twice a year, you got to block 2 punts a year, don't you?
They didn't block a punt last year, if memory serves.
You got to block 2 punts a year.
Did Ethan Berg did block a field goal against A&M, right?
Yeah, I think they got their hands on 2 field goals.
Okay, I don't remember the other one. I'm like scrolling through my memory here, which is not as good. Too much Altstadt, but I don't remember a blocked punt. Someone will let us know if we're wrong on that. So there you go. Special teams unit, Texas number 1. If you care, Texas Tech number 2. Another thing Texas is better than Tech at.
Sorry about that.
Just like softball, we're number 1. Y'all are number 2. Congrats. Florida number 3, Notre Dame 4, Georgia number 5.
Thanks, Georgia.
I'd be lying if I said I knew a whole lot about any other special teams unit besides the one here. But considering Georgia has killed us in special teams the last couple of times we've played them, I think they should be ahead of Texas.
Just on the fakes alone.
Just on the fakes alone. So we'll take your thoughts. Are we being too critical? Are we on the money? What do you think? Phil Steele, again, in his individual unit rankings in his preview magazine, has Texas the best special teams unit in the country.
Yeah, I mean, right. this would when you get into the special teams, it all comes down: is this the best overall, group? This is the best athletes in college football. Does Texas feel the best athletes, Does Georgia have the best athletes? Does Texas? Does Bama? Does Ohio State? Does, Notre Dame? Who has the best athletes?
Yeah, but
And
go ahead.
I
Sorry.
think with the recruiting, the way it's been recruiting, and you keep hearing about these unbelievable freaks, 6'6", 6'4", you should have the best. Your athletic group should be the best, and your special teams should be just that too.
Yeah, I don't disagree. That just hasn't been the case.
You're right.
Like, you need athletes, you need coaching, you need the athletes knowing what they're supposed to be doing and doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that means less blocks in the back from number 24.
But he can cover, guys.
Allegedly.
That's amazing.
Yeah, there was a severe lack of accountability, I thought, at least with that one player last year.
Right. I mean,
everybody was like, it feels like every week Warren Roberson's committing a hold or blocking the back on special teams, and yet he's out there on every single punt and kickoff. Like, at what point is it like, okay, like you said, we've got all of these elite athletes. There's got to be somebody else who could do that job, who maybe they don't block anybody. They just don't move us back 10 yards.
Yeah, this is your job. This is what you're going to do this year for us to help our football team. You're blocking that particular guy on the punt return. Don't hold him. Don't grab him. Don't push him in the back. That's all you need to do.
Just get in his way if you can.
Yeah.
If not, don't grab him. Like, we'll take a fair catch of 0 yards instead of -10 on the return.
Yeah, I'm going to think that they're going to be better this year, but I'm not quite sure that I'd put them at number one. I wouldn't even think of putting them at number one. And Phil, still, now that you tell me about where they have been placed by him, that's pretty scary.
It is. I will say this. In 2024, I mentioned Phil Steele had Texas in the top 5 in 3 of the last 4 years. 2024 was the year he didn't. He had Texas at number 61. So they weren't even close, which is right. That's where they should have been.
Yeah.
But, last year he had him at number 4. And again, it heavily weighted clearly by the job that Ryan Niblett did. And if you just look at stats, again, the kicker was 20 of 24. The punter had a great average. But obviously, if you're in the trenches like we are, like our audience is.
Thank you. Our audience is in the trenches is right.
They know their stuff. Texas was not a top 4 special teams team last year.
Yeah, Niblett is he really sets them apart. He can set them apart. If all the things are done the right way, that guy's special back there.
He is indeed. All right. We'll take your thoughts. By the way, Phil Steele, I guess to put on a bow on this, just a refresher, maybe for those of you who weren't tuned in the last couple of days or missed us talking about this, his overall position unit rankings, he is Texas quarterbacks number 2, running backs number 2, wide receivers number 4, O-line 18, D-line 4, linebackers 3, DBs 19, and special teams 1. So
wow.
Every unit top 20 in the country, and 6 of the 8 units top 4 in the country. The only 2 that weren't, offensive line and the secondary. So there's a reason we're excited and optimistic about what this year can become.
There's no doubt about it.
That's one of the many why we are. Phil Steele, clearly a believer as well. Okay, we'll take your thoughts. The Dakota text line, 512-222-9328. The YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch live chats are rocking and rolling as well. Want to go around the SEC, talk about how many teams can really win a national championship this coming season. But before we dive into that, how about our first round of sponsor shout-outs?
Folks, for years I've been looking for the right the right feel, the right comfort, the right support for my thoracic back. And it took me a while, but once I found it at our good friends over at Relax the Back, I'm never going to leave it. I'm never leaving this chair. Sorry about that, Relax the Back. I know you're making great chairs by the month, but I love this chair. This chair fits my lumbar area, my thoracic back. And folks, I couldn't be happier. My back couldn't be happier for sure. So before you even have back problems, get a chair that's going to fit you right, a chair that will change your life and not have you worried about when is my back going to start aching. Maybe your back will never ache if you get the right kind of support with it. There's zero gravity recliners, Tempur-Pedic mattress sets, of course. They've got the pillows. They got all the office chairs, the desk, the accessories, the stand-up office desk. They have everything that you're looking for to make your life comfortable. And whether you're going into work and you want to take your chair into work, or you got it at your home, or it's just a recliner, just sitting and watching TV or doing what you do at the house, head on over to Relax the Back. They will find something that's going to suit you for sure. 2 locations. One is in the Hill Country Galleria across from Whole Foods. The other one is up north at the Gateway Shopping Center across the street from the Container Store. Live pain-free like the Buck at Relax the Back.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, love those stand-up, sit-down desks.
Yeah, that's the one
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Where am I going?
Come on. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. I've got one of those bad boys.
Nice.
And I love it. And you
Oh,
will
my
too.
God.
Oh, yeah. Shout out Relax the Back.
Now, when you do the show, do you actually stand up at any time or not really?
No, I always sit down.
But when you're doing work, when you're at the house and doing something, you'll stand up and use that?
I'll go back and forth. It's I sit down because of the TV alignment, the AV Consultations TVs. I want to make sure that those are on screen. We got our sponsor logos going, and
Awesome.
AV Consultations deserve some love. I mean, those of you who watch this program, you see it every day. These 2 TVs behind me, installed professionally by the experts at Audiovisual Consultations. Y'all have heard me talk about the 4-screen man cave for years, done by AV Consultations. You've heard the Buck talk about his 85-inch TV screen, done by AV Consultations. We trust them. You should too. We're not alone. Thousands of satisfied customers over the last nearly 40 years. They've been around since 1988, longer than I've been alive. They're the best at what they do. So if you want to upgrade your TV setup, you're looking for badass surround sound speakers, they also do a whole home lighting and surveillance systems, and they can put a golf simulator in your home too. Really anything technology, anything that's going to make your home more fun. Tom always calls it the toys. If you want some toys for your home, reach out to them. Again, the best at what they do. They will hook you up, get it done by the start of football season, and thank us later. 512-255-8678 or online at avconsultations.com.
And folks, if you're having a problem with your knees, your elbows, your ankles, contact the experts at Texas Orthopedics. If you're one of those weekend pickleballers that gets out there and goes nuts and diving for every shot, talk to those folks. Their physicians offer comprehensive surgical and non-surgical orthopedic care for children and adults, rehabilitation, spinal care, sports medicine, joint replacement. If you need to have that surgery, trust in the guys there. Please do. Their doctors are fabulous doctors there. And the weekend warrior, they're out there. I've got my friends who get out there with mama and play pickleball, and now they're talking to me about, well, my ankle isn't quite the same. I said, your ankle was never any good anyway. But now that you're playing pickleball, it's now to just your ankle, your elbow, your knees. They can get it done, folks, at Texas Orthopedics. Their goal is to get you right back into good health and the great quality of life that you deserve. Texas Orthopedics is the largest independent orthopedic practice in Central Texas. For more information, go to txortho.com. Ask for Dr. Danny. Dr. Danny will hook you up. And if he can't do that surgery, somebody else will. Chris Stockton, those guys, they love to hear from folks that are UT fans and fans of this show. They love to hear from you. They've helped out a bunch of mine. They've helped out my wife with her shoulder before. She has never had problems again after going to Texas Orthopedics with her shoulder.
Love it. Dr. Danny's the man, and he needs your money because he's got like 15 kids.
All boys.
All boys. Putting together a football team.
All boys. All little dudes running around.
Crazy. Shout out to them. And also for you weekend warriors, early bird CBD.
Yes, indeed.
I don't have the gummies with me because I got them packed. Going to the coast this weekend.
There you go.
Bringing some early bird CBD gummies. I'll be on the beach in Galveston, just as relaxed as can be.
Yeah, you know what about early bird? I was making early birdies the other day. I dropped them in my drops. I had 2 birdies at the par 3. I'm not going to tell you what I shot, but who cares what I shot? I'm the new bird man with my early bird for sure. Knees feel good, man. Days afterwards. Thank you to Early Bird CBD.
Is that what they're calling you, the bird man now?
Yeah. I had one of the Texas teachers send me a picture. He had his USA eagle on, calling himself the bird man. Well, I'm the bird man now.
Oh, that is awesome. Well, hey, you could be the early bird man or whoa man if you buy some of these products. It's a local Austin company. They make products designed to make you feel good, whether it's pain relief, whether it's relaxation, maybe a combination of both. Maybe it's helping you get a great night's sleep. My mom takes an early bird gummy every single night to help her sleep. And she loves them. She swears by them. So we've got our families, we've got our friends hooked on the early bird products. We've had a bunch of y'all reach out to us too and say that you love the early bird. Give it a go. earlybirdcbd.com. 20% off your first order if you use the promo code Bucky. We think you'll be a repeat customer once you give these things a try. earlybirdcbd.com.
Sweet.
All right. Let's dive back into some college football conversation. 58 days away from Texas opening up the season against Texas State. We are 51 days away from week 0, a.k.a. the first games in the 2026 college football season. And we're getting closer to SEC Media Days. We've had Big 12 Media Days already, and all these other conferences are going to have them soon. And kind of feels like the season is right around the corner. You've got all these preview magazines and predictions and accolades and honors and odds and this, that, and the other. But, Buck, this is a big year for the SEC because, for a long time, 2 decades, everybody with a brain thought the SEC was the best conference in college football. And, the last 3 years, the SEC has not only not won a national championship, they haven't had a team play in the national championship game. Obviously, the Big Ten's won 3 straight titles, and it's been 3 different teams out of that conference that have won it all. So a lot of folks out there are questioning whether or not the SEC is still the best league in this sport. And I think for, people to start to buy back into the Southeastern Conference, it behooved the league for an SEC team to win a national championship and put this mini drought to bed. So I ask you, how many SEC teams do you think can actually win the national championship? Not get to the playoff, not make a run in the playoff. How many teams in this conference do you think are good enough to win it all in Vegas next January?
3.
Who are your 3?
Texas, Georgia, and Alabama.
Ooh. Okay. Explain.
Sorry about that. A&M, OU, Mississippi, LSU.
Before we get
the only reason I don't have LSU in there, BK, I think there's this first year, Lane Kiffin is, he's now gone into the transfer portal and had a bunch of guys and been successful at Mississippi. I think this year is going to be a mentally taxing year for Lane Kiffin. And I'm not saying he's going to be done at LSU. I'm just going to say I think this will be, he'll lose that game he's not supposed to, or that second game, or maybe even that third game. I just don't think he's going to have it all together. I think he's going to pay for some of his Lane Kiffinisms,
Okay.
I think this is the year he pays for it.
Yeah, it's year 1, right? Winning a national championship in year 1, I don't know if anyone's ever done that. Now, some guys have done it in year 2. Kurt Cignetti just did it in year 2. Hell, I think LSU has had a couple of coaches win it in their second seasons. But yeah, I don't think that's an outlandish take. LSU could be very good this year. I think they're the most polarizing team in the conference. I think they have a wider range of realistic possibilities for how this season plays out than any other team in the conference. But I agree with you on that. I don't think LSU's winning a national title. I think they had too much roster turnover, and I think that's too much for a first-year coach, even a good one, to overcome.
Yeah, he did well at Mississippi. They had their best year ever, but all of a sudden now he walks into a new place. The expectations are a little bit different now. He was playing with house money last year where he was. This ain't house money. This is his money now that he's playing with. And the expectations aren't going to change for that dude. They're going to be on him immediately. They're not going to say, well, he'll be all right in 3 years. That's not the way they look at it, I don't believe. And I don't think he's going to look at it that way. And I think that's going to put even more pressure on himself.
No, they fired Brian Kelly midway through year 4. They got rid of Ed Ogeron midway through year 5. So, they're not always the most patient in Baton Rouge. And
no.
I don't think Lane Kiffin's going to get fired. I don't think there's anything that could happen this year that would cause him to lose his job. But yeah, the expectations are what they are. And he left a place where he basically had a lifetime contract, and they would have built a statue of him if he stuck around to the pressure cooker that is Baton Rouge, Louisiana. But I want to.
He's totally wrong. He may be able to. That's just his life.
No,
He's just
he ain't winning a national title in year one. I don't think you're wrong on that.
Yeah, I just think the pressure is going to be too much, and hell, the pressure may be too much after game. What is it? The third week of the season when he goes back, the guy's head may explode.
Let me ask you this: Do you think LSU's a playoff team this year, or you don't even think they're that?
Well, I think they have a chance to be 10-2. They got a chance to make the playoffs.
Okay.
He's going to get no help from committees. The people are in. That guy's going to get no help from anybody. You realize that. Anything that can go wrong and people may go wrong for LSU, they're going to try to do that to that dude.
I don't know. I disagree with that, but it seems pretty cut and dry. You got to win 10 games and you're going to make the playoff. So I part of me wants to say,
you don't think 9-3 with some good wins, they're going to do it. You're just not going to get there.
Well, I mean, every year is different. I'm just basing that on what we saw with Texas last year, because the Longhorns had some very good wins and they were 9-3, and 2 of their losses were to 2 of the best teams in the sport, and they didn't get in. So every year is different. Obviously, it depends on what happens around the country, but I wouldn't bank on a 9-3 team finding their way in the CFP unless they win their conference. So we haven't seen it yet.
Once again, the loss to the Gators was
third loss. Dude,
Yeah.
Texas could have lost to OU instead of Florida. They would have been out. So everyone keeps talking about the Florida loss was so embarrassing. Texas could have lost to another playoff team. It doesn't matter who you lost to. It matters that you had 3 of them. That's just the way it's been. Now, we've only had this for 2 years, so making all these crazy generalizations may be crazy, but that's what it's been to this point.
Yeah, that's what it's shown you, yes.
I want to ask you about Alabama, because I was a little surprised that you threw the Crimson Tide in there.
Yeah, I mean, it was for me, it was between them and Mississippi. They have a quarterback coming back. But I think, once again, just like I thought about LSU, their first year, I'm the head coach everyday guy. What's that going to be like for him? But it's nice to have a quarterback that's been in the conference for 15 years. That helps.
Well, he's only been in the conference for 1.
Well,
he's been in college football for a long time. He's only been in the league for 1.
Yeah, but that helps.
Yeah. All right. Well, not all, because I don't think Ole Miss is winning it all either. And I think most people would agree with you on that. But I think you surprised some folks by throwing Alabama in there. So why do you think Alabama is good enough to win a national championship?
Because I think they're going to have their lines of scrimmage are going to change this year. I would expect them to find some kid that can run the ball. I know they're looking at a new quarterback, but it is Roll Tide.
It is Roll Tide.
And they have a good coach. That guy's a good coach. I know people are ready to throw him out, out the window, but I think he'll prove that he's pretty daggum good.
Yeah, my thoughts on Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, I know.
There ain't a Texas fan in the world who can say anything bad about that guy, unfortunately.
No, let the people of Alabama say stuff bad about that dude.
Yeah, well, they would say something bad about – they said something bad about Nick Saban, dude. Every time that guy lost a game, it was like, has he lost his fastball? Do we need to get rid of him? Maybe the game
why is Kirby doing this? Yeah, why is Kirby doing this?
Yeah. Yeah, Georgia didn't lose today. Disregard that they played like Chattanooga, but they didn't lose today. Ohio State didn't lose today. Something's got to be wrong here. So Alabama fans are spoiled, rotten, and they're ridiculous, and their standards are insane. And I think just about every team in the sport would take the year 2 that Kalen DeBoer just had.
But I would give a legitimate would be just the 2 would be Texas or Georgia.
Well, that's what I asked you. Why'd you say Alabama if you don't believe it?
I'm trying to add a little excitement by putting Roll Tide in there. I'm not going to put OU in there.
You don't have to put any. You could put 1 team. You could put 0 teams in there if you want.
Okay, I'll just put Texas and Georgia.
All right. Well, that was my answer. So now I'm mad at you for stealing my answer.
Because I can't truly think. Like I said, LSU. The reason I said LSU is because they're all the talent that they have. But I just think the pressure would be okay. I would say 3 then, BK. I would say the 3 that I would say LSU because of the talent.
No, okay. Can they win a national championship this year? I don't even know if you believe yourself right now.
Do I think that? No, just the
Okay.
two. Just the two.
Oh, you're killing me, Smalls.
Because we're trying to win it. We're not trying to get close to it. We're actually trying to win it.
Yeah, because look, I think Oklahoma can make the playoff this year. But do I think they can win it all? No. I think A&M can make the playoff this year. I don't think A&M is going to make the playoff, but I think they can get there. I think they've got enough talent to sneak into the field of 12. Do I think they could win it all this year? No. LSU, Ole Miss. There are a number of teams in this league that I think are good enough to get one of the 12 spots, but there are only 2 teams that I think have enough talent to actually win the national championship, and that's Georgia and Texas, in that order. I'd love to put Texas first, but Georgia under Kirby Smart, they've already shown us they can do it twice. Texas under Steve Sarkisian has not.
Yeah, that I would say just those two have a chance to actually win the thing.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. And, I mean, we know if Texas gets to the playoff, they're going to be battle-tested. They've got arguably the toughest schedule in the country, so they're going to have to play some playoff-caliber teams and beat some of those teams to even get in
during the year,
bracket,
you're right.
Which should give you some confidence. And, I mean, Georgia.
We're just horrified at Georgia, so we just have to put them.
Well, yeah, I think Georgia will be picked to win the SEC at SEC Media Days in a couple of weeks. They would have my vote. I mean, they've been in the SEC title game, I think 5 years in a row, and they've won the last couple. So they're, I think, the safest bet. They've got an easier schedule than Texas does, so I think they're a safer pick just to make the playoff. And then, again, they've shown us what they can do when they get there.
Yeah, it would be what it's like for the SEC is probably the same for the Big Ten. They may have 2 teams. That's it.
Ooh,
and now the one team we don't even want to believe can actually do that again.
Well, who are your 2 teams then in the Big Ten?
I would have to say Ohio State and Indiana.
Not Oregon.
No, they'll falter. They're that talent-laden team like LSU, but some way, somehow, they'll get beat up.
I mean, they've never won one before, so
yeah,
saying they're not going to win one, history is very much on your side.
Yeah, I just see those 2 teams again.
I think Oregon's got enough to. I'd put Oregon ahead of Indiana. You just
can't do that. You can't do that to Indiana no matter what, anyway.
Right. Yeah, that's
because they just lucked into one last year, right?
I don't know if they lucked into it. They earned it last year, but I don't think they're as good. They lost so much, and going back to back is not easy to do at all.
And losing the number 1 pick in the NFL draft.
Number 1 pick in the NFL draft, the Heisman winner. But I'd pick them to make the playoff. I ain't making that mistake again. I don't think they'd go back to back. I'd put Ohio State and Oregon as the top 2 in the Big Ten. I mean, it feels like every year. And look, if we did this exercise at this time last summer, we wouldn't have had Indiana. So maybe this is dumb of me to say, but it feels like every year it's like there's 7 or 8 teams around the country that you feel like can actually win the national championship. And I think that's the case this year. I'd put Georgia and Texas. I'd put Ohio State and Oregon. You can throw Indiana in there if you'd like. Maybe they've earned a spot in the conversation. I'd put Notre Dame in there, yes, as much as it pains me and it pains you to say. And then Miami.
The U is back.
I mean, they played in the title game last year, so I think you could say they're back. That's my list of teams that I think can win the national championship this year. And that was 7. I get to 7 there. And I had a tough time with the 7th, and I also said I don't think Indiana can win it all, so maybe I'm closer to 5.
You're right.
Again, could be way off on this. There could be a surprise team that creeps into the conversation.
Or would you say this, that the champions is coming out of either SEC or the Big Ten? It ain't coming out of the Big 12.
Well, that's where – no, it ain't coming out of the Big 12, but that's where Miami is. How do you feel about the U? Because they're obviously in the ACC. I think they've got the best chance of any non-Big Ten SEC team. Well, Notre Dame. they're not in a conference.
Right.
Notre Dame is number one. So, no, I wouldn't guarantee, because I do think Notre Dame is good enough to win it all this year. They wouldn't be my pick to win it all this year, but they are absolutely good enough to get it done. So I won't say it's Big Ten or SEC guaranteed, but the odds are in your favor if you're
yeah, for sure.
Those two leagues, I would think. Yeah, Texas and Georgia are my picks. Did I miss anybody? I can't decide, or I can't tell. Do you think Alabama's good enough to win a national championship, or LSU?
They're not. They're not good enough to win, and I definitely don't think LSU this year, even with all that talent, I don't think they can get it all together in a season.
As our guy T. Cox says, we need to ask Brendan Sorsby who he's going to put his money on. I did find the odds, by the way. These are per FanDuel. Ohio State has the best odds to win the national championship this year. They're at plus 550. Notre Dame, right behind them at plus 650. Texas is third at plus 750. So the original conversation was, how many SEC teams do you think can win it all? Texas has the best odds of any SEC team. Georgia is at number 6 at plus 850. So not too far behind, but there's a couple of teams between the Longhorns and the Bulldogs. And the next SEC team is 8th. That's LSU, but they're plus 1,800.
Wow, yeah, like you said, like you thought, Texas and it would be Texas and Georgia would be Georgia, and I got to believe it would be Georgia first. Like you said, they got to be first on the list. Yep. Period. Out of the SEC.
I do think Texas has a better roster than Georgia. I trust the Bulldogs more. And I trust Kirby Smart more. Here's the odds.
You've seen it.
Yeah, of course. We've seen it. Ohio State plus 550. Notre Dame plus 650. Texas plus 750. Indiana and Oregon are tied at plus 800. So there's your 4 and 5. Georgia plus 850. Miami plus 1,100. And then a decent-sized gap to LSU at plus 1,800. And then how about Texas A&M at plus 2,000 right behind the Tigers?
I wouldn't put a plug nickel that I found underneath my desk on that. That's just wasting a nickel.
Plug nickel.
That's just wasting my nickel to put that.
Go ahead and light your money on fire if you're planning on making that bet. Or you know what, better yet, just give it to me. I'll take it. You want to throw money away? Don't throw it away. Throw it to BK. Come on.
No, that's not going to happen.
The Aggies with the 9th best odds to win the national championship this year. And Texas Tech is right behind them at plus 2,200.
They're coming in with a quarterback on crutches. They're going to be, this Sorsby thing is still going to follow them everywhere they go for a while. I know it's like, let's just forget it and play the season. That ain't going away.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Texas Tech is not really – you still have Cody Campbell talking about it. You still have people at Big 12 Media Days asking about it. And, like, you would think it's like, all right, let's just move on. Let's not even bring this up. Let's hope everyone forgets about it. And they're still playing the victim here, like, you guys screwed us.
They need to stop that
because we're Texas Tech and we're good now and y'all don't want us to be good.
That just makes it worse. The more they talk about it, I know their media wanted to get on the commissioner up there and they wanted to ask a bunch of questions, and he got a little testy with them.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of crazy.
We'll ask Ari Temkin, who's joining us in a few minutes.
Because you know what? He's sick of talking about it.
Yeah, well, it's the irony of Texas Tech fans turning on Brett Yormark, to me, is not lost, because they loved that dude, and they're like they're mad at Texas for trying to leave the league, and why are you leaving? And now they're like, the Big 12 sucks, Yormark sucks, we got to get out of here. And I didn't forget what y'all said, Texas Tech fans. People don't forget. But yeah, that was. I didn't think Yormark handled those questions very well, by the way.
No, he was very quick and very fast and very, hey, why are you asking me this? It was almost like, do you know, I told you before the show, and it'll be interesting to talk to Ari about it. I don't know if that guy is going to want to stick around that very much longer there.
He just signed that huge monster deal with Monster.
Yeah, but those answers because those Texas Tech people aren't going to leave this guy alone. They're going to pretend they own the whole conference and screw their commissioner.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Texas Tech's going to be trying to leave, I'm sure, and I don't know if the Big 12 or the Big 10 or the SEC really wants him. Now, if we do get to the two super conferences that folks have been talking about, and it's the Big 10 and the SEC, you're like, all right, let's just pick up as many of these other schools as we can to fill out our leagues.
Let's just take Cody Campbell's money. That's all.
Yeah, maybe Texas Tech gets an invite because of the money that they've invested into their program. But yeah, I mean, in the short term, they're stuck in the Big 12. So, look, the good news for Texas Tech, you get an easy path to make the playoff every year. Like Texas Tech, their projected starting quarterback's not playing. Their other quarterback is coming off a torn ACL. He's not going to be ready for the start of the season.
Right.
And they're still heavy favorites to win the conference this year.
That's what's incredible to me. I know. It's just, what is the rest of that conference like?
Well, we'll get into it in a moment, I guess. Before we do, Ari Temkin's going to join us. He covers the Big 12, former Austin Sports Radio host. I think everyone knows who Ari Temkin is. Before we chop it up with him and continue the college football conversation, how about another round of sponsor shout-outs?
Say hello to Jay and the gang over at Sue Patrick with the incredible selection of Longhorn apparel. How about this? Collectibles, accessories. They've got everything you want. If you're a golfing fan, believe me, they got Longhorn gear there. They got golf bags. They got head covers. They got balls. They got tees. They've got it all for sure there. Plus, they've got the tons of Texas-themed gifts, items, books, wide variety of men's and women's clothing in all sizes. They got your caps. They got the caps for sure. They've got the T-shirts available for you. Sue Patrick offers free shipping on online orders of $59 or more, free curbside pickup, and there's plenty of parking space. If you're worried about the heat, that's the place you want to go and get indoors and check out what they have to offer you inside of Sue Patrick at 5222 Burnett Road. Jellycat headquarters, of course, if you're interested in those Jellycats. For more information, 50 years of service in Central Texas. For more information, please go to SuePatrick.com.
Yes, indeed. Love our friends at Sue Patrick. Also, a shout out to McCall Custom Homes, custom home builders and remodelers here in Central Texas. They're the very best at what they do. A+ rated by the BBB. Tons of 5-star reviews online. They're fully licensed. They're fully insured. They're not fly-by-night. It's a father-son team that's been around for a long time. I mean, they got more than 4 decades of combined experience, and all of that experience has been right here in Central Texas. So they know what it takes to turn a Central Texas home into something special, but they don't just do stuff. They ask you what you want. It's not like, we're coming in, we're tearing down that wall, we're building this. You don't know what you're talking about. No, they'll meet with you. Free estimates, by the way, to listeners of the show. They'll
got their own designers, by the way.
Yeah, they'll talk about your ideas, and they'll work with you, and then you'll go from there. Mike McCall's a great guy. We trust him. Listens every day. Big Longhorn fan. We think you'll love him too. 512-633-9580. That's Mike's cell number. Call him, text him anytime. He'll hit you right back. Or go to their website, McCallCustomHomesATX.com for more info. It's McCall Custom Homes. We build value into your home. All right. And also a shout out to Dr. Chad and his great team at Sleep Cycle Center, calling all you snorers out there. Wake up. Probably feeling drowsy, feeling tired. You know when you don't sleep well. And your sleep is one of the most important things you've got in this life. Get it taken care of. More than 22 million Americans have undiagnosed sleep apnea. It's not just a statistic. It is a serious problem that can lead to some serious problems. NFL Hall of Famer Reggie White lost his life in his sleep due to undiagnosed sleep apnea. Dr. Chad lost his father in his sleep due to undiagnosed sleep apnea. Get it taken care of. That's why Dr. Chad is so passionate about making your sleeping problems go away. He doesn't want you or your family to have to go through what he went through. 2 Austin area locations, one up north, 183 and Breaker, the other in Lakeway off of 620. Tons of great ways to make your sleeping problems go away. It's not just CPAP. They've got mouth guards. They've got tons of state-of-the-art technologies and things they can try to, again, fix those sleeping issues for good. Free consultations for listeners of the show. And if you mention Bucky and BK, you're going to get $100 off an at-home sleep study. SleepCyclecenters.com for more information.
Sweet.
All right. See him in the waiting room. Man, it's been too long since we've chopped it up with this guy.
He's
Can we call him?
He's been big time in us.
He's big time in us.
He's one of the busiest guy in media.
Yeah, he's no longer like local radio. He's now conference radio guy. He's big time. He left us in Little Austin to now cover the Big 12. He does a little bit of everything. Longtime sports radio host Ari Tepkin, who now hosts Big 12 Radio on TuneIn and Big 12 Studios, joining us here on Bucky and BK. Ari, it's great to see you, man. How are you?
What's up, gentlemen? It's been too long. And guys, last time I checked, Texas left the Big 12, not the other way around.
We didn't want to be a part of the Monster Energy Big 12, Ari. That was our fear, so we had to dip out well in advance.
How you been, buddy? How have you been? How's your family and everybody?
Thanks for asking, Buck. Appreciate that. We're great, man. Enjoying the summer. And yeah, I mean, football season is getting closer and closer. You got training camp less than 3 weeks away now for the NFL, and media days is here. So we still have another, 8 weeks or so before this really kicks off. But at least, this is the first entryway towards the football season. So that's always fun.
Awesome.
Well, we'll talk about real Big 12 storylines, but I think the biggest national storyline coming out of Big 12 media days was the Monster Energy deal that the league signed that's seemingly going to impact all 16 member institutions of the Big 12. Your thoughts on that? You think the Big 12 is being treated unfairly with that deal? I mean, what do you make of that sort of groundbreaking announcement from the conference?
I think there are elements of it that maybe are understated in some of the headlines, because the immediate headline is, oh, wow, that only got them $20 million, which is, just over a shade over $1 million per school. When you look at the jersey patch and what some teams are commanding for that kind of sponsorship, that's anywhere between 2 and in some cases, I think up to, 10, 11, $12 million. So 1.2 seems low. Now, when you look at what Kansas announced yesterday, Kansas announced a partnership with XRP. So they'll have kind of 2 jersey patch sponsorships. So maybe it's a little bit extra. But there's a lot of other elements, again, I think that are understated in it. Like apparently within the agreement, the Monster Energy has to include Big 12 branding in commercials that they use internationally, and they are internationally in commercials in over 100 countries, as the Big 12 looks to go international, which is an interesting conversation altogether. That's huge. So I think, and like big picture, guys, this is really, in my opinion, about Redbird Capital. Redbird Capital's involvement in the Big 12 partnership, if you will, is to bring some of these commercial opportunities. I don't know that this is related to that, but it feels like many of the latest sponsorship opportunities for the Big 12 have come through Redbird in that partnership. So, the Big 12 is just trying to catch up from a revenue standpoint with the SEC and the Big 10. When you think about the money that the Big 10 and the SEC teams are earning year over year in television revenue, it's twice as much, I should say, as the Big 12 is getting, and that compounds every year. So, the Big 12 has to be creative in the way it identifies new revenue streams, because not only do they have to find new revenue streams, they have to find new revenue streams that the SEC and the Big 10 won't touch. Because
let me ask you that: we're down to my guy, the beef jerky, Jack Links or whatever. We need to have that. You need to wash that down with some of that Monster drink. Are they just gone now? Are they totally out of it?
No, and now you got, it's not Jack Links. Now I'm trying to think of the beef jerky.
What is the jerky? What is that?
Old Trapper? Is
that
Old
Trapper? There you go. Yes.
Trappers. I loved Old Trappers.
What's funny, Bucky, is that was a deal that was done with the old Big 12 with Bob Bowlesby. And so I just remember Brett Yormark coming in day one of media days, like the first year was sponsored by Old Trapper. And he was like, are we really sponsored by a beef jerky company? But no, I mean, they're still involved. I got a gift bag from the media for being there, and I had some Old Trapper in there, so that was good. I mean, any beef jerky is better than no beef jerky.
You're absolutely right, man.
Agreed. Ari Temkin joining us here to talk.
By the way, as a coffee drinker, I'm way prefer Old Trapper beef jerky than any energy drink. With apologies to any of these sponsors.
There you go. And you got the Big 12 mug going too. Oh man, he's a company man right there. Corporate shill, Ari Temkin is. Well, let's talk about ball, Ari. I mean, obviously Texas Tech has been the biggest storyline in college sports this offseason, but on the field this year, I mean, despite the fact that the guy who they thought was going to be their starting quarterback is not eligible to play, despite the fact that Will Hammond is coming off an ACL and we're not quite sure exactly when he's going to play. At Texas Tech, still the Vegas favorite to win the conference by a pretty considerable margin. In your eyes, despite the uncertainty at quarterback, are they still clearly the best team in the league?
To me, I picked BYU to win the Big 12. I think both BYU and Texas Tech are clearly like the top tier of the Big 12. And then I think you've got a group of teams. Houston won 10 games last year. They're very good, and they firmed up their offensive line. Willie Fritz can coach the ball. Arizona won 9 games last year, lost their bowl game. That's another team that brings back a ton, including the most experienced quarterback of the conference in Noah Fafita. I'd also probably throw Utah into that mix and Arizona State as well, kind of in that second tier. In terms of Texas Tech, look, Will Hammond, who's from Hutto and was a high 4-star recruit, he's a big time player. And Joey McGuire told me this offseason that had he not torn his ACL last year, they probably never go and get Brendan Sorsby. And that move was basically like to allow for Hammond the appropriate amount of time to come back from an ACL and kind of be a bridge gap. And, look, Joey told anybody that asked him at media days this week that he could be ready for week 1. I find that hard to believe, just from a standpoint of, you can beat Abilene Christian and Oregon State with the talent that you have in your roster without Will Hammond. But week 3 is a Friday night game against Houston. That's a game where I think that's when he needs to be starting and ready to go. Their schedule is very easy. They probably have the easiest schedule in the entire Big 12. So, how effective does he need to be? I mean, look, Baron Morton, Texas Tech, had one of the most explosive offenses in college football last year based on metrics over the course of the season. All Oregon did was blitz them in the Orange Bowl, and suddenly this explosive offense scored 0 points and looked terrible. So I think there's also like a wait and see with Texas Tech this year, because they put up big time numbers offensively last year and then didn't show it in the playoff. And so that means a lot. So, and then on the other side, the argument I'm making for BYU is like as much talent as Texas Tech has, and there's a ton. And look, Texas Tech's roster is probably at 40 million. BYU is probably closer to 20 million, which is up twice as much as they were from last year, thanks to Kalani Sitake's flirtations with Penn State. But like Bear Bachmeier, to me, is like the most underrated quarterback in the country. He was a true freshman last year starting. And remember, he spent spring ball at Stanford last year. So he comes into BYU after Torrey Taylor got let go and basically just competed for the starting job as a true freshman who didn't spend spring in Provo and won the job. So it was a very simple offense. They evolved it slowly over the course of the season. And ultimately, I think this year with the full off season, like the dude can play. And then like the best part of this whole deal is they've got a new tight end, Walker Lyons, who's the brother of their 5-star quarterback, Ryder Lyons, who's going to go on a mission this year. And with Bear's brother, Tiger, they now have potential pass catchers, Tiger and Lyons, with Bear the quarterback. So
Wow.
Lions and Tiger and Bear at BYU. But they're really good. The only loss for BYU is their defensive coordinator, Jay Hill, who's a legend and was great and went to Michigan with Kyle Whittingham. But everybody back from that elite defense in BYU, and basically everybody.
11 returners, Ari?
What's that?
They got 11 returners coming back on
Yeah.
defense?
Yeah. The only guy they don't have back is Jack Kelly, who got drafted as a edge rusher, outside linebacker. But yeah, Isaiah Glasker is probably the best linebacker in the Big 12. They added Cade Ulave from Cal, who led the ACC in tackles last year. They've got a great secondary. Satuala is one of the best players a lot of people I don't think talk about. But I will say, like Jay Hill, his specialty is in the secondary. He brought his secondary corners coach with him to Michigan. And Kelly Papinga, who's a longtime staffer at BYU, takes over as the DC, and he's more of a front seven guy. So, could that impact their defense overall and the personnel? We'll see, because the strength of that defense has been kind of in their secondary. So we'll see if a switch in coordinator changes that. But yeah, I'm pretty scared. I'm pretty big on BYU. And then BYU plays in the middle of the season. They host Notre Dame this year. So that's obviously a huge game for the Big 12. And like, I think the early line on that is Notre Dame by 10. So, I mean, it's tough. And like, again, roster money matters. If Texas Tech's at 40, where's Notre Dame? And then BYU is probably closer to 20.
Ari, for Baylor, DJ Lagway coming, is this a possibility that this kid will be able to walk off the bus without getting hurt? I mean, has he been healthy through the spring? Is he a kid that looks like this could be it. I mean, things may change. I'm just saying from a physical
No,
standpoint.
right.
Really, I don't know.
It's a great question, Buck. I mean, it really is. And I really like him. I had never met him. And I like his mentality. He's not arrogant, but he's got a level of confidence that you need in a quarterback. The Big 12 has a couple of these guys. I mean, Wegman last year, obviously as a number one recruit coming out of high school, transfers in, had a decent year last year, but needed better protection. And then now with Lagway coming in, so I don't know how much you guys have heard about or talked about this quarterback VR system that a lot of teams have now. So Baylor invested in this VR system where basically a quarterback can wear a headset and then visualize everything. What the offense is doing, they visualize defenses, and you can actually speed it up within the virtual reality headset so that some quarterbacks have said when the game happens, it slows down because it's so much faster on the VR headset. Well, Lagway's been working on that, and Baylor told us that Lagway, the company that runs the VR, basically said Lagway's setting records with usage of it. So, to me, everything has lined up for him to have success this year. And who knows? I mean, I think it's people want to put blame on Florida. People want to put blame on Lagway. It's probably like most things, cut it in half, divide by two, right? Sure. It's probably both. and to your point, Buck, he just hasn't been healthy. And if he's not going to be healthy,
you can't do the things. Your mind, mentally, it's hard to work that way.
Exactly. So now with that being said, when, Dave Aranda's sort of on a win or you're out situation here, and when do those ever work? Those never work.
Yeah.
And if Mac Rhodes doesn't have the situation that he has as Baylor's athletic director last year, G.J. Kinney might be their head coach right now. Who knows? But it wouldn't be Dave Aranda if the Mac Rhodes situation doesn't happen. So I like Dave Aranda a lot. He's a great guy. I just think he sometimes gets lost too much in the minutia, and he's probably more of just an elite defensive coordinator than he is as a head coach. Sure. He's a great guy. Obviously a brilliant defensive mind, and I have a ton of respect for him and as a person, as a man, as a father, and as a defensive mind. But I think it's just a tough spot for him because there's so much new. The one thing I will say is Joe Klanderman comes in as the defensive coordinator. He's had top 30 defenses at Kansas State basically every year. And they just cannot be any more awful than they were on defense the last 2 years. It just would be impossible to be any worse than they've been the last couple of years, especially last year. So, but I'm just not. For me, again, I just go back to these situations rarely work. They just rarely ever work.
I agree. Ari Temkin of Big 12 Radio joining us here on Bucky and BK. I don't know if Colorado's still a big story in college football. I mean, obviously when Coach Prime took over, they were the most talked about team for the first couple of seasons. And last year was a disaster. Deion was obviously away from the team for part of the year. Is anybody talking about Colorado? What's Deion's future there in Boulder? What's happening with them?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is when Deion does his best work, when he's counted out. I think Colorado's a bowl team this year. Last year was an absolute disaster, from their roster to the coordinators. I mean, they basically had Caden Salter and Julian Lewis, who are two athletic quarterbacks, run a Pat Shurmur pro-style offense. It made no sense. And so much so that, I said this before the season, and then mid-season they get rid of Shurmur. Of course that wasn't going to work. It's the worst offense for Caden Salter to run. It's even worse offense for Julian Lewis to run. It makes no sense. It's this most teams right now have coaches that are going to run offenses or defenses that feature the skill set of their players, and that was not the case last year. You also have the fact that Deion had bladder cancer, had to have his bladder removed, wasn't with the team for most of the offseason work and even into fall camp. So I think all of that is why they were so awful last year, and they were awful. Since Deion has been at Colorado, they have not been able to run the ball. I mean, even when they were good, they could not run the football. And it really the last couple of years, they've not been able to stop the run either, which is usually not a recipe for success. You can't run, you can't stop the run, you're not going to be very good. Brennan Marion, who obviously Texas fans are very familiar with, has come in as their offensive coordinator. I think that is about as good of a hire as you could possibly have, given that you've not had a running game and that you have a quarterback in Julian Lewis, who's a former 5-star, who's got athletic ability. I think it's going to work. Now, I question Deion's in-game coaching at times, but I think he checks a lot of other boxes. He can recruit. His name still matters a ton, and he's an excellent motivator. And I think there are elements of his coaching that are good, but his in-game coaching has just been awful. And so I think he needs help in that way. But I don't think they're competing for a Big 12 championship, but I do think that this is a team that's going to be a 5, 6, 7 win team.
The exchange between the Commissioner Yormark and the Texas Tech media, has that been just
Media.
Yeah, very media, that would seem like it was very special there to start that thing off this week. So somebody has to give. Somebody has to just shut up, leave it alone, let's move on. And it sounds like it's more so on the commissioner's side than anything else.
Yeah, and look, I think there's a few like legal parts he's trying to navigate here. There is a lawsuit technically, and Texas Tech fans are still upset that they're being sued, but I think they don't really get the gist of the lawsuit, which is way large. It's not really about Tech; it's really about precedent of not having local officials get involved in matters involving conferences. That's really big picture what it's about. It's nothing to do with Texas Tech. Texas Tech's just provided the action, and the lieutenant governor provided the action for it. But there's no like monetary penalties here associated with being sued. It's more of a precedent thing. Look, the question was horrible, and it was such a fanboy question that which is why I put the air quotes up for media. It was awful, and like not to say there wasn't a question in there, because there was. The question in there is, why are you mistreating Texas Tech? If that's what you believe, then ask that question. Didn't need to be this word vomit, long-winded, dumb, nonsensical question. You could have also asked about, Cincinnati and what's Cincinnati's culpability in this, because it did come out, and I'm sure Brett Yormark in the conference knew when it came, that it was coming out that the NCAA was going to be investigating Cincinnati, which, by the way, Scott Satterfield and the Cincinnati group have obviously denied not any knowledge of the situation. But I think there were legitimate questions in there. I think there are legitimate questions still to be answered. I think the governor, the commissioner was a little flustered by it. And, I don't know that he came off looking that great. I just think I can't wait for football to get here. And I do think genuinely that Will Hammond is going by the end of the season will make people forget about this entire situation.
There we go. Ari Temkin of Big 12 Radio joining us here on Bucky and BK. A couple more for you here, Ari. I guess a surprise team, maybe it's Colorado, but if there is someone who spoils the Texas Tech BYU party, because it does feel like those teams may be on a collision course to meet in Arlington again in December, maybe a surprise team that can make a little bit of noise in the conference this year.
Yeah, I mean, certainly I think there's two levels to this. There's the who's a surprise team that nobody expects to be a bowl team that could be there. That to me is Colorado. Yeah. If I'm thinking of a surprise team that could crash the party in Arlington, I'm thinking of a team in probably that second tier that we talked about, which would be like Houston, Arizona, Utah, Arizona State, maybe Kansas State, Oklahoma State, TCU. That grouping, it's a large grouping. Kansas State, I'm pretty high on. When Colin Klein was the offensive coordinator of Kansas State, that was an elite offense. When Colin Klein was the offensive coordinator of Texas A&M, that was an elite offense, something we're not used to seeing with Texas A&M. And Avery Johnson's one of the highest rated recruits that Kansas State's ever had. He's been a disappointment, I would say, on the whole so far in his career. Just feels like the perfect time for the right coordinator, right offensive mind with Avery Johnson. They have a salty defense. I think there's a lot to like about K-State. Utah, Morgan Scalley has been with Utah forever. He finally takes over as their head coach. The thing about Utah is they talk about Scalley being different from Whittingham, where he's going to take more chances in the passing game, where Whittingham is play good defense and run the ball and get out of there. But it's kind of funny because you've got Devin Dampier, quarterback, who rushed for 1,000 yards last year. They've got Wayshawn Parker, who was a near 1,000-yard rusher last year at Utah. And they also have a true sophomore quarterback named Bird Ficklin, who in a game that he had to play for Devin Dampier missed one game. And in that game, Ficklin had 5 rushing touchdowns. He's the fastest guy on the team, arguably. So I was telling Morgan Scalley, I was telling Devin Dampier, it's can we run 21 personnel, have Ficklin and Wayshawn Parker in the backfield, run some option? That it feels like with those 3 guys, you could do a lot with it. So I'm interested to see what that offense looks like. I think, again, that defense, the continuity there, that predates Kyle Whittingham. That's actually Fred Whittingham, Kyle's dad's defense. So that is a defense and the way that they recruit, develop. Like they're looking for certain characteristics. They develop. Like they've done that for years. So that's why that Utah always has good defense, and I think they'll continue to have that. Then Oklahoma State's a huge wild card here, guys, because I think a lot of people are pretty high on them. They have not won a Big 12 game in 2 years. I mean, think about that. It wasn't that long ago that Texas beat Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah.
And they have not won a Big 12 game in 2 years. That's how bad Gundy let it get. Eric Morris is just a brilliant offensive mind with Drew Mestemaker, who obviously very famously never played high school quarterback at Vandergrift High School. Somehow, some way. The funniest thing to me is like, how delusional do you have to be as Drew Mestemaker to get passed over multiple times in high school at quarterback because the guy in front of him graduated and then another kid transferred in and started ahead of him. Like like at that point, you've got to be thinking like a lot of other kids were thinking, like maybe I'm not a quarterback. But Drew Mestemaker, out of all of it, despite that, thought he was still a quarterback. And Eric Morris, the funniest story is how Morris found him, which is, he's got somebody that he trusts a lot in this evaluation, telling him that he's got to look at him. And he's like, cool, send me some tape. He's like, there's no tape. I don't have any tape. He's like, you want me to offer a quarterback with no tape? You didn't play quarterback. He's like, trust me. So he brought him in for a workout and he signed him.
Oh,
and they're bringing in. There's no team left in North Texas, so the whole team is coming there.
Yeah.
And then I want to ask you, Iowa State, can they field the team, or are they all up in Happy Valley there?
Yeah, I mean, no. Those are two teams that have complete roster turnovers. I like Jimmy Rogers a lot. I think he's going to be successful. He last year was his first year at Washington State. He had to do the exact same thing, and he ended up 6-6 and making a bowl game. And it's funny because when we talked to him when he got hired, we were like, "Wow, how amazing! Like that's incredible." And he's like, he was very disappointed with the 6-6. So I think it shows you his expectations. I picked Iowa State like 15th out of 16 teams in the Big 12. I picked Cincinnati last. But I mean, so I think they could take some lumps this year because, like, not only did they turn over the roster, like their roster is just full of G5 guys. Like they don't even have powerful players. Jalen Rayner from Arkansas State spent the last 3 years there. He's got some talent. He could certainly make some noise. But he's 3 years at Arkansas State. Will it work in the Big 12? And then probably one of their biggest portal additions, a linebacker is out for the year now with an injury. So. But we saw him do it. Like he left, came to Washington State 1 year, turnover roster, and won 6 games. Now Big 12 and the current Pac-12 or whatever Washington State's in, a little bit different, but I think it'll work long term. Jimmy Rogers reminds me a lot of Matt Campbell in some ways, and so I do think it'll work.
There you go. All right, Ari. Last question. I know you cover the Cowboys too. Any red hot Cowboys takes that you have? Is this finally the year for Dallas to get over the hump? What's on your Cowboys brain right now?
I mean, I shouldn't keep saying this because it's just stupid, but I'm going to say Bears Cowboys for the NFC Championship game here.
One of those teams is good now. You got the Bears part right.
Yeah, you're right. Here's the thing: like the Cowboys are going to have an elite offense, right? They've got 2,000-yard receivers. They've got Dak Prescott playing at a level, like from a mental standpoint, like the physical piece, like Dak obviously physically is not where he was 5 years ago, but mentally I think he's better off. That's part of the aging of a quarterback where like you understand things. Like he's thrown for 40,000 yards in his career. He's seen everything. He knows how to manipulate defenses. Like, so that's going to be an elite offense. I am a big fan of Christian Parker. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid on him. I think won't be long before he's a head coach. And so I think it'll work, but it's like, DeMarvion Overshown is the big name right now, obviously here. And like he's played off ball basically his entire career with the Cowboys and has not been able to stay healthy. Parker's been using him a lot in OTAs, with the green dot as middle linebacker. And like that, it's all well and good, but he's got to stay healthy. He's never been able to do that. And for me, like Bobby Wagner is out there. Bobby Wagner was just ranked 81st on the NFL's top 100 list. I don't know why, if you're the Cowboys, you aren't making moves like that in order to try to get you over the hump. Just even as an insurance policy, I get it. Like it's time to see if Overshown can play and stay healthy. But like, my goodness, your defense was so bad last year, one of the worst ever, and yet you just make these little moves here or there that to me aren't. Like I'm worried about the pass rush. I'm worried about corners. I'm worried about linebacker. And, I feel like there's guys out there that you can make a splash to go get. Von Miller, like, I don't know. I think if I'm going out and signing a pass rusher right now, I don't know where Von Miller would be on my list, but he put on Instagram himself in a Cowboys uniform. Most people who know are saying there's no, that's not going to happen. But like, it's like, we're just looking at them like, do something. You can upgrade your personnel on defense. You should do that.
They don't like to do that. That makes too much sense for the Jones.
They'd rather get a Minnesota Viking linebacker.
Yeah, they'd rather find somebody else. Well,
or let arguably the greatest defensive player in the league walk.
Yeah, exactly. Ridiculous. Ari, you're the man. Thanks for joining us. Great stuff. Hopefully we get the chance to do this again soon. Really appreciate your time, my man.
Yeah, appreciate you guys asking. It's great, Bucky. Great to see you, BK. Great to see you. Keep up the great work, guys, and be well. Take care.
Likewise. You too, man. There he goes. Ari Temkin covers the Big 12, Big 12 radio. Tune in, Big 12 Studios. You can follow him on Twitter at Ari Sports. Also covers the Cowboys up there in the Metroplex a little bit as well. And interesting getting his thoughts and takeaways from Big 12 media days that just went down at the Star in Frisco.
Yeah, it sounded like, for, the start of that whole Big 12 deal when the Texas Tech media, one dude stood up and he had everything on his computer, BK, and he was asked to repeat it. He had to stand up with computer in hand and look over everything that was on his computer to ask the question. That had to make the commissioner pissed.
I thought about cutting that up and playing it, but it made me pissed.
It was why? Yeah, that was why do that? Just ask a simple question.
Right. Like, hey, why are you going? There is a question there, like Ari said. Yeah. Why are you going against Texas Tech? This is your biggest cash cow right now. This is your best chance of making the league look good in the most important sport. Why are you doing this? And instead it was just 45 seconds of, this incident and that incident and this and that and why. And it's just like, dude, let's go.
Yeah,
Get to it.
Yeah, I miss my beef jerky now, but they're still in there. The traders are still in there. We can still get beef jerky.
We could have gone. I'm sure the Big 12 would have loved to have had us covering their conference.
Yes.
Right? Like anybody who wants to SEC media days, it's hard to get a credential and a table at that place because everyone wants to cover the SEC. I'm sure it's the same for the Big 10. The Big 12 is probably like, oh, yeah, you guys want to – are you sure? But yeah, I mean, yes, please.
We'll give you a table. We'll give you chairs, a table, and everything.
We'll pay you to come cover our crappy conference. Thank you very much. Oh, man. Good stuff there from Ari. Before we shift gears here and bring things back to Texas, how about another round of sponsor shout-outs?
So our good friends over at Hat Creek Burger Company, I'm going to have myself a Hat Creek burger today. I'm going to go with the big hat, fries, and strawberry shake for sure. Hat Creek Burger Company is a place of good food, good folks, and a whole lot of fun. Hat Creek Burger is proud to be a place also that you can come in hungry and you will leave full for sure. You got over 30 locations in the state of Texas, great playgrounds for the kids, and happy hour for the adults. Folks, and if you do like those queso fries that BK likes, get them. They are tasty, but I can't do queso fries and a big hat and a shake. That's asking a little much of the buck. But your neighborhood kids can, because they can eat everything that's in that place, including the nuggies. And folks at Hat Creek Burger Company, there's something there for everyone, for sure.
HatCreekBurgers.com to find a location near you and to place your orders online. Love our friends at Hat Creek. Also love our friends at Qualis Roofing and Construction, the best roofers here in Central Texas. They do residential roofs. They do commercial roofs. Have them out to your place. They'll come out and inspect your roof for free. And I say this a lot. It's not just hail that can cause problems with your roof. Look, just over time, your roof's going to get damaged. Rain can cause problems. High winds can cause problems. Random debris flying around that you might not see can cause problems. You don't know what's actually going on with your roof. The experts at Qualis do. Have them out. They'll come out for free. If nothing's wrong, they'll tell you nothing's wrong. If something minor is wrong, well, maybe a good time to get it fixed before it becomes a major issue. These guys are A+ rated by the BBB, tons of 5-star reviews online. They're also fantastic people too. They're communicative. They show up on time. They do great work. You're not like, do I trust these guys? They're not storm chasers. They're not fly by night. Again, they do the very best work, and they want your business. All you have to do is reach out to them, 512-257-0033, or go to qualisgc.com for more information. It's Qualis Roofing and Construction.
And our good friends at Woods Comfort Systems, for over 70 years in Central Texas, they have been getting it done when it comes to heating and, of course, air conditioning. And right now, that air conditioning has got to work properly for you folks. So if there's any problems with it, please call on their technicians to come out. Right now, 70% on 36 months financing on any of their Bryant systems. But at Woods Comfort Systems, as I said, nobody does it better. Yesterday, I had a guy, my generator guy, come out.
Nice.
You got to have a generator on the house somehow. You got to have that just in case the grid goes and you lose power for a day or two. So I had my generator guy come out, BK, and I'm ready. I'm ready just in case this 100 turns into 110 and the grid goes a little funky. So I would say that, when I talk to Mike McCall and stuff, no matter what you do, and even as you are getting ready to get out of being a renter and get into a home or leasing home and stuff, you got to have a generator around this place. Got to have that done. Got to have that little extra boost just in case.
Hey, generate these nuts.
Yeah, you want somebody else to do it. But Woods Comfort Systems, folks, you don't have to worry about any generators when it comes to your heating or air conditioning, because nobody does it better than Woods.
I don't know if what I said made sense at all. I don't know if Woods Comfort Systems wants me saying that in the middle of a live read too, but it's out there. It's over. They are the best. WoodsComfortSystems.com for more information. Speaking of the best, Altstadt Beer is the best.
Yeah.
I'm going to be drinking Altstadt on the beach this weekend.
There you go. Those sandy white beaches.
Not just in the beach. Yeah, the white sands and the blue waters of Galveston, Texas, USA, America.
Yeah, baby.
You know what? You have enough Altstadt, it's going to feel that way.
Yes, it will.
You may be seeing some beaches like that. Love the Altstadt. Hey, it's already Thursday. We're basically at the weekend, aren't we? Why not? Crack one open at the end of the day. I'll crack one open right now. Who cares? It's 10:30. You've been awake long enough. You can have a cold beer. Nothing wrong with that. Love the Altstadt. My choice should be yours as well. Tons of different brews available all across the great state of Texas. They've got it at places in Galveston, too. I don't need to bring some from Austin. Go to the stores down there and get me some Altstadt. It's in Houston. It's in the Metroplex. It's in San Antonio. And, of course, all over the Austin area as well. I love it. Brewed locally in Fredericksburg. Easy to find. Tons of different brews. And Altstadt's not expensive. Some of these like craft beers and local beers these days, it's like, really? I got to pay $17 for a six-pack? What are we doing here? That's not what Altstadt is all about. It's like getting a luxury car at a family sedan price. That's what their beer is all about. Get you some the next time. Again, you're at your favorite grocery store, liquor store, bar, or restaurant. It's Altstadt Beer. No impurities, no regrets. All right, so kind of putting you on the spot here, Buck.
Okay, I love to be on the spot.
What kind of spot are we talking?
Any spot. I'm a jack of all trades.
Okay.
Master of none.
I got you. Jack of all. That's a Tom Herman quote right there. Be careful.
There you go.
We'll be bringing Coach Mensa into this. Nobody wants that. We're all having a good time here. Don't ruin the vibe talking about that dude. Well, I want to ask you, which Big Six program at the University of Texas is most likely to win a national championship in the 2026-2027 academic year, which is obviously this coming year. And the Big Six are the Big Three in the men's and the Big Three in the women's. So football, men's basketball, baseball, volleyball, women's basketball, softball. Of course, no disrespect. If you're asking which Texas program is most likely to win it all, then you're probably going rowing or men's swimming and diving.
Yes.
It feels like they both win it all every year. But I think the six that I mentioned are like the six that generate the most interest. So maybe we rank these 1 through 6. Which one do you think is the most likely to win it all in their respective sport in the coming season?
Men's football.
You're going football number 1?
I'll go football number 1. I said men's football just in case there's a lady who's ready to jump in there, but I'll say, yeah, football.
Well, don't sleep on our women's football team this year.
Oh, boy.
They got some talent now.
Oh, geez.
They play their games in the bubble.
We got flag going on everywhere, don't we?
No, we don't have flag football. Chris Del Conte got asked about that at the town hall a few months ago, and he's like, hey, if you're willing to fork over a $20 million donation to start a women's flag football team, then we will have women's flag football tomorrow.
We'll get some Olympians in there for the next Olympics.
I mean, we're good at everything, so we'd be good at that.
Well, don't say soccer.
We're not good at soccer?
No.
Well, we did just, I guess, fire a coach and bring in a new coach, so
yeah.
I'm sure we'll be good at soccer in the not too distant future.
There you go. I would say for sure football. I'm all in.
Man. I'm very excited and optimistic about football, but I think I'd put football number 3.
Really?
I'd put softball number 1 because they've won the last 2.
Okay.
And they still have Tegan Cavan, and they had a great portal class that they added. I know they lose a lot, but because we've seen them do it 2 years in a row, I wouldn't be stunned if they three-peated. I'd put volleyball number 2 because Jared Elliott always has that bunch in the mix.
Yep.
And, I mean, he's won 3 national championships at Texas.
Yeah, I would put football, volleyball, and then softball. I'm just 3 in a row. 3 in a row.
I know.
Rough.
I know. It is. But I will say this, before Texas won its 2 in a row, Oklahoma won 4 in a row. So we've seen it happen. We've seen a 4-peat happen. Forget a 3-peat. So how funny would that be? How much would that kill OU fans if their 4-peat was followed by Texas winning 4 straight?
So it's just killing them with a 2-peat.
Well, one of them killed them. And the fact that it's in Oklahoma City and they got to watch it every year makes it even better for us and worse for them.
I love that part.
But I'd go football 3. And I'm also very confident in football. I guess not as confident as you are, but I think football's got a very legitimate shot. I said it earlier. I think they're in the top 5 of most likely teams to win it all this season. I just, I don't know. There's some really, really good teams that are out there that worry me.
So it's those 3.
So you'd go football 1, volleyball 2.
Yes.
Softball 3. You still have the men's and women's basketball and baseball. How are you rounding out your 6?
I would say baseball, women's basketball, and then what was the last one out of that? That's 5.
My favorite team, the one that has 7 fans.
Men's basketball will be at the end.
Last?
Yeah, I'm not even playing with that. That's yeah. That'd be last.
I think most years it's probably the right decision to put men's basketball at 6th, aka dead last on this ranking. I'm moving them up a spot, Buck.
Wow.
There are people.
Of course you are. You're a part of the 7.
Hey, there are national people out there who have Texas as a preseason top 10 team in men's basketball this season. So if you're there, then you're at least in the conversation, right?
Well, did you not think they had top 10 talent last year?
No. I didn't think. I thought they probably should have been better than a first 4 team. Going into the start of the season. But I wouldn't have picked Texas to make the Sweet 16 at the start of last year.
Okay.
So no, year 1 of the coach, all the roster turnover, no chance. This roster is significantly more talented than the one they had a season ago. So last year, I liked the Sean Miller hire. Got a lot of flack for that. Not getting as much on that take right now.
No, you're not. Nobody's after you on that.
Wonder why. Last year I would have put Texas 6th on this list. This year I'm moving them up to 5th, so still not very. I'd put women's basketball 6th. And I know Vic Schaefer's squad made it to the Final Four the last 2 years, which is closer than the men's team has gotten in 20-plus years. I remember the offseason for Texas women's basketball was not good at all. They lose Rory Harmon, obviously, to the league. But then you've got Jordan Lee transfer. You had a ton of your great players transfer.
Right.
Aaliyah Chavez is gone. Aaliyah Crump is gone. Some of them I think Texas was okay with, but you lost so much from last year's Final Four team and SEC tournament championship team. I know Maddie Booker's back. She's an All-American, and you brought in a great recruiting class, but I think that, unfortunately, this team's going to take a little bit of a step back this season. And I just look at their roster, and I don't think they have as much talent as the men's team does, obviously, comparatively.
Yeah, they don't have enough people in that stage that were in the system.
No. If Jordan Lee came back, which that's the one that really hurt Vic Schaefer.
Right,
like, she'd be the second best player behind Madison Booker, and it's like, all right, you feel like they could get back to another Final Four, and maybe this is the time they take that next step. But I just think they lost too much, and they didn't hit the portal as hard as a lot of the other elite programs.
Yeah, I got a feeling they got late on the portal, and their expectations were some of these people were going to be back. They were going to, the returning girls were going to come back, and they were really still going to be strong. They were going to miss their point guard, but the rest of it would be they'd find somebody else, and they would be strong enough. And that kind of, I don't know if it backfired or they weren't expecting what happened. I don't think anybody was expecting what happened.
I think you're right. I think that's what it was. I think they were caught off guard. And look, I mean, the team's still talented. You got Breonna Preston coming back at point guard. She'll take over as the starter for Rory Harmon. And
Right.
she played a lot last year and was very good last year. So, but yeah, they just, I don't think their roster's as good as what it's been the last couple of seasons. And for that reason, look, I still think Texas is going to be a top, 10 to 15 team in the preseason polls. And I would still bet on them to make the Sweet 16 at minimum in the tournament. I just have that much faith in Vic Schaefer. And again, you've got an All-American in Madison Booker, but I don't think they're as good.
They don't have the depth for sure. You're right.
Yeah. I'd put baseball at 4. So I'd go baseball 4, men's basketball 5. And I was close to flip-flopping men's basketball and baseball, but I'm banking on history a little bit here, putting baseball ahead.
That makes sense.
Baseball 4, men's basketball 5, women's basketball 6.
Yeah, that makes sense to do what you're doing with baseball.
Yeah. So, all right. I wanted to get your thoughts on it. That's an exercise we can do maybe a couple of times, but
yeah, I like that.
I like that you've got football number 1 from your lips to God's ears.
Yeah, I have football number 1 this year. This is all in. All in.
This is as good of a chance as they've had in a long time, don't you think?
Especially on the defensive end. I like, Will Muschamp coming. There's a reason why you got rid of the other guy. I mean, this is directly on the shoulders of the head coach.
Yeah.
I mean, right dead square on both of his shoulders,
But that's an all-in move, though, like you said.
Yes.
Because your defense, it's not like it was so bad you had to fire the guy. It was very good, and it's like, well, let's bring somebody in who can get us over the hump.
Yeah, get us over the hump. Let's see if that will make the difference. That's got to be the one that makes the difference.
That's the best team they've had in the Steve Sarkisian era, and I mean the best team they've had since 2009, maybe 2005.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting, as I said, offensively, to see what the scoring numbers look like now. You've got to pick up your scoring, and you got to pick up your pace. Your team has to be aggressively trying to get itself cranked up early in football games. Like right out of the locker room, right to the field. Let's go. We need to score. We need to score touchdowns. We need to get ahead of whoever we're playing, no matter what the game is. If it's SEC, if it's before you get into your conference games, it's let's get ahead. Let's stay ahead, and always be looking to score. There can't be any lulls, where they have these weird little, 3 series lulls and then they come back. It's the third quarter. It's just got to be very consistent on what they're trying to do. And that's on the head man too, because he calls the plays.
Oh, yeah.
He's the guy who's supposed to know. He's supposed to know his personnel. He should know them pretty well going into year 6?
Year 6.
Well, he should definitely know the quarterback better than he knew him last year for sure.
It's year 4 for Arch Manning at Texas. Right. Obviously his second year as a starter. But, yeah, what you're basically saying is there are no excuses for this football team, but especially Steve Sarkisian's offense. They've got everything that you need to win a national championship. Now they got to go out and execute.
Once again, the offensive line, it can't be worse.
No.
I'm still going to say that. It just can't be, BK. It just can't.
It won't be. It won't be worse. It can't be worse, and it won't be worse. But
right.
Is it good enough? And if it's not, it's going to be on Steve Sarkisian for not recruiting that position well enough or not hitting the portal hard enough.
Yeah, and if it's not, the defense has to make up for that. If
Yeah.
the scoring isn't up, then the defense has to be stopping people from scoring.
You know, it helps when you're
they're all his moves. Like you said, they're all his moves.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, we'll take your thoughts. The Coda text line, 512-222-9328. The YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch live chats are rocking and rolling as well. We'll get to the BBK news in a moment. Some guy.
Let me ask you something about what Ari was saying about the Cowboys and Overshown. I mean, he's been banged up. He's been hurt. Is off the ball. I mean, I know because he can run, BK, because he's such a great athlete. Is he in the right spot? Is that the best spot for him? The only spot for him?
Yeah, I think. But where else would you put him?
I mean, he's playing both inside and outside.
I mean, he's not an edge rusher, so
Right.
No. He's an off-ball linebacker, and that's what he was doing at Texas, and that's what he's done when he's been on the field for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I didn't know if he was suited to be more in the middle than anything, because he can get to those areas where he wants to, but is he physical enough? The minute you start talking about injuries, then if I say the word, is he physical enough? It's like, no, Buck, he'll get hurt if he plays too much inside with guards coming on him and everything else. He's better in open space. I mean, I know he's fantastic in open space, but does he have the physicality to be inside a little bit more against the run than out there in the air where he does seem to get his knee jammed up?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's playing the right position.
Okay.
He's very good in space. I mean, played a lot of safety in college. I think that's what he was recruited as out of high school. So he's got that coverage ability and the ability to kind of go sideline to sideline. But
yeah, when he's healthy, you can see it.
He's put on enough weight to where, I mean, he's a linebacker. There's no doubt.
Okay.
He is a middle linebacker for the Cowboys, and they are banking on him being able to play 17 games.
And they have enough big guys up front to keep guys off of him anyway.
Yeah, they've got good defensive tackles with Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark. I always almost call him Kenny Payne.
Oh,
Kevin
Kenny
Clark. Making sure I got his name right.
Yeah, they got enough guys to keep big guys off of him. You're right.
But he's a very important piece for the Cowboys. They need Overshown healthy, and if he can't stay healthy, then at some point you're gonna have to move on. It sucks.
True.
We all want him to be good, but can't make the club in the tub.
Nope.
And he has not played a full season of football since getting to the NFL. He was drafted in 2023, didn't play at all that year. Played 13 games in 2024, played 6 games this past season.
Man.
19 games in 3 years. That's not what you're looking for from
No, it's not.
talent like that. So hopefully that was Overshown's problem at Texas early on. He kept getting hurt, and then he finally stayed healthy, and he turned out to be a stud. So maybe that's what happens in the NFL.
Maybe it's that year.
Maybe it is that year. All right, before we get to the BBK news, a quick shout out to Gobundance. Our guy, Matt King, of course, went on the ride a couple of weeks ago, biking 2,000 miles across the country to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars for charity. It's a great dude, but also let's talk about Gobundance. You know, legends like Earl Campbell and Ricky Williams, they showed us what it was like and what it meant to run with power, play with heart, and never quit. Texas football has always been about determination and pride, and that's the fire that lives within Gobundance, where men push each other to stay hungry, stay humble, and achieve what many others never thought could be possible. If you're ready to level up in business, if you're ready to level up in your family, your health, and in life, Gobundance is the team that you have been looking for. If you're ready to live like a champion, check out Gobundance. It's a community of high-achieving men. We're talking entrepreneurs. We're talking investors. We're talking former athletes. We're talking people from all walks of life who come together to push each other to another level. If you feel like there's something missing from your life a little bit, Gobundance.com, again, is the team that you have been looking for. Check them out, Gobundance.com.
Love it. It's not like the Texas Cheaters. They don't push me to get better.
The Texas Cheaters will push you into a cliff. Off of a cliff. They'll put you into a pit of despair.
Oh boy, thank you very much.
If you're like in an action movie and you're like hanging on a cliff and
Oh
there's
yeah,
like someone there who can pull you up to save you, the
yes.
Texas cheaters will just kick you a
With
little
their,
bit.
is that the guy with the boot just putting on your fingers? Just
Yep. Just kick
oh,
you. We've had enough of you. We'll see you later.
see ya.
Down you go.
Man.
All right, the BBK news today. Interesting story, kind of related to the World Cup. Man, I feel bad for this guy a little bit because I think he was onto something here. He did something that a lot of men and maybe a lot of women want to do, and he got away with it for a couple of weeks, but unfortunately, his plan is foiled, and he has been caught. There was an Englishman, a fan of England here in this World Cup, who was found after a couple of weeks, and he said he was blissfully unaware that his frantic family had sparked a global search. So this guy went missing, 65-year-old. He's got a family back in England. He leaves the country, and they basically start a manhunt trying to find this dude. And it's gotten to the point where it's like, okay, hey, people around the world, be on the lookout for this guy. Maybe he's in a different country. And he vanished without a trace, and eventually he was found 2 weeks later.
We talked about him, didn't we?
We've had different stories like this. This is a new one.
Wow.
So his family raised the alarm after he left Leeds, which is in England, on June 20th, intending to travel to the USA via Barcelona. I guess they told his family, like, hey, I'm going to the World Cup in the States, so I'll let you know when I get there. Well, he vanished without a trace, and they found him in Barcelona by an off-duty cop who saw him wearing a Leeds shirt. He and the cop gave each other some, like, Leeds salute. I don't know. I guess it's like giving somebody the hook 'em horns. And the cop's like, wait, I feel like I've seen that face before. And he checks social media, and it's like, oh, yeah, you're the guy that everyone's been looking for.
Oh, my God.
And they found him. He went to the police in Barcelona to report it, and sure enough, that was the guy. So this dude, 65-year-old Michael Hewitt, he lost his phone after getting to Barcelona, and
Yes.
probably intentionally lost his phone. Hey, I don't want anybody to find me, so I'm just going to drop my phone the moment I get here, and I'm going to start to enjoy my life and stop dealing with my nagging wife all the time.
And these
Get
damn
away from
kids.
my kids, my job, my bills, everything that I have to deal with back home. He lost his phone, and he said, again, he was blissfully unaware that people were looking for him. But it was all good.
Well, nobody's heard from this fool in weeks.
Yeah, they thought he was going to Barcelona just to catch a connecting flight to the States. So, all right, we're going to hear from you once you get there. And he just lost his phone and didn't care and didn't think it was a big deal.
Come on, Dad.
I just feel for the guy, man.
I mean, what is the outcome? Is he going back?
Yeah.
He is?
I mean, at that point, you have to, right? They found you. You gotta go back. Your family's been looking for you. You can't just be like, I ain't going home.
Well, the whole gig was he was never intending on coming back.
I know. Well, he's bad at his gig. He failed.
No, he didn't fail.
Yeah, you're trying to go off the grid. You got to go off the grid. You can't get caught in 2 weeks.
So, I mean, what do? They don't just send you packing. They just trust that when they let you go. I mean, what has he done wrong? What is it that the dude has done? He hasn't robbed anybody, has he?
No, he didn't break a law or anything.
Well, he didn't have to, I guess, I don't know, has his visa run out or something? Do you have to go back? Do they have to send you back, right? You can just go get lost again. What the hell? Doesn't mean you have to go, because some cop sees you, doesn't mean you have to turn around and go back to the misery that it sounds like you were trying to get out of.
So at that point, what do? Like, you just call your family and say, I'm never coming home?
Oh, I think they got that. I mean, well, now that the story's out and that is the dude, I kind of get that everybody around him gets it, that he didn't want to come. He wasn't coming back. Yeah, he didn't have to call them. They got it. I think they got it.
Message received. Yeah, that's a tough way to leave your family, right? Hey, I'm going out to get some milk, and then you never come home. I'm going to the World Cup, and then you never come home.
Let me go get a pack of smokes. I just forgot.
But I
My
feel like in those
smokes are-
situations, the kids might not know you're not coming back, but the mother of
Yeah.
children that probably knows that, all right, this is it. He's gone. This situation, it sounds like it's just a normal guy that had a family back at home. He says he's going on vacation, and then
He thought everybody there thought everything was fine, huh?
yeah, well, the family was looking for him. He thought everything was fine. Everyone else was freaking out. He's like, what's the big deal? Let me enjoy my life for 2 weeks. So I don't know. Maybe he goes back home and lets them know he's okay. And then he's like, all right, you know what? I actually enjoyed that more than I enjoy you people. So
By the way, hey, in 4 years from now, I'll hang out for 4 years, but when we have the next World Cup, I'm gone again.
yeah.
If I say I'm going somewhere and there's a World Cup, I was in Barcelona just chilling.
He's just hanging out in Barcelona, hiding out for a couple of weeks.
With no phone.
No phone. Lost his phone. Didn't care to find it. Just let it go. So glad to hear the game's still alive, and I hate that this guy got caught.
The gig is up for him.
How
Go
about
back with
this?
the Australian team.
What's that?
You should have got on the plane with the Australian team and gone back with those dudes.
Well, he was in Barcelona. There was no Australian team in Barcelona. That's the point. He
Oh.
never made it to the States.
Gosh.
Yeah. Next story here. Buck, we talked about it yesterday. It's National Video Game Day. You said you're not a big video game guy anymore, and neither am I. But you know about the college football franchise, correct?
Sure.
So it was a huge thing for a long time when I was a kid, and then it went away for a while. And then with the advent of NIL, EA Sports returned the college football or NCAA football franchise a couple of years ago, and they release a game every year, just like Madden, just like NBA, whatever. Well, now, back in the day, you couldn't put names of players in the game because they weren't getting paid. It was like Vince Young was QB number 10. Colt McCoy was QB number 12, and so on and so forth. And you couldn't have actual pictures of the players. You just had to have like generic black guy for Vince, generic white guy for Colt. That was kind of the bit. But nowadays, again, because these guys are getting paid, you've got the real names, the real bios, heights, weights, where they're from, and real pictures. Well, the 2027 version of the game just came out. And there's a player on BYU named Cannon DeVries. He is a cornerback for the Cougars. I was going to call them the Mormons. I don't think that's their mascot, right? They still
it's not. No.
Okay. For the Brigham Youngers. And, on the right, for those of you tuned in, you will see the real picture of Cannon DeVries. On the left, you will see what NCAA football thought Cannon DeVries looked like.
So that's truly him on the right?
So Cannon DeVries is a white guy with, what would you call his haircut right there, Buck?
Business proper.
Yeah, that's perfect way to describe it. And in the video game, they have Cannon DeVries as a brother with dreadlocks and a mustache.
Who's so black he's almost blue. He almost melts in with the uniform.
with the blue BYU jersey.
Yeah.
How do you screw this one up this bad? And it's BYU. Like, this is a Power 4 team that played for a conference title last year. I wouldn't understand this if it was some team in the MAC or the Fun Belt, but BYU?
Yeah, I can tell the difference between those two dudes.
Yeah,
they don't look anything alike.
No, this is not like maybe they just got the wrong guy, or they're supposed to do face scans. Like, I think that's how the technology works. It's like there's a picture that you get of the player and you put it into some system, and it's like the game spits out, okay, here's what he's going to look like in the game. And this was the face scan, I guess, for Cannon DeVries.
Very nice there, AI.
You know what this reminds me of, Buck?
What's that?
Asian Jim from The Office. You seen that episode where Jim pulls the prank on Dwight, and one day it's Asian Jim in the office? Yeah. And they changed up all the pictures on the desk, and Asian Jim kisses Pam, and it's like Dwight's so confused what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
We got Black Cannon DeVries in the video game.
My goodness.
And I mean, the hair, the mustache, they got nothing right here.
Somebody said pretty close.
I don't know. I mean, they just invented an entirely new human being here with Cannon DeVries.
Wow.
So that one was great.
I can't wait till somebody said I can't wait till they have the 2027 version with the monster logos.
Oh,
The monster scratches on them.
yeah. I got to buy the game just to make sure Arch Manning isn't like a Mexican or something.
No kidding.
I feel like we would all know if they had screwed up Arch Manning. That'd be like the biggest story in the world right now. They're not going to mess that guy up, but Cannon DeVries, sorry about you. We don't care.
Oh, that's great. He must be loving that.
Oh, man. All right, real quick. Why today's not so bad. It is July 9th, National Sugar Cookie Day. Buck, where does the sugar cookie rank on your?
Very low. Very
Really?
low. My
Okay.
wife's daughters love her sugar cookies. I'm not jumping up and down about her sugar cookies. She makes me little cupcakes, with the pecans in them and bananas. Love those. Don't mess with her cookies. No thanks. You've had her cookies before.
Oh, I've had your wife's cookie.
You don't mind her cookies. They've been good, haven't they?
Yeah, always good to me.
Yeah. So I'm not a sugar cookie. I never was a sugar cookie guy. Christmas time, anytime, no thanks.
Yeah, they're middle for me. I mean, chocolate chips the GOAT. There's no debate there. It's the best cookie that's ever been made. So I'm fine with the sugar cookie. I'll eat one if it's there, but I'll never ask for or order a.
No, you would never order. You never go and buy sugar cookies anywhere.
No. On this day in 1868, big one for you, Buck, the 14th Amendment is ratified.
Ooh.
That one granted full citizenship to formerly enslaved African Americans and established the critical due process and equal protection clauses that shaped modern civil rights laws.
Yeah, I was just a little bit before that. Remember, I was born in Philadelphia, where the Declaration of Independence was signed. So I was cool. Everything was good.
Big one for you and Cannon DeVries, the 14th Amendment getting
Yes.
ratified. And after that, no one was racist ever again. So that was a happy ending to that story, I think.
Yeah, that ended that in a hurry.
Yeah, of course. On this day in 1914, Babe Ruth had his contract purchased by the Boston Red Sox. People forget that Babe Ruth started on the Baltimore Orioles. Then he went to Boston before he ended up going to the Yankees. Started the curse of the Bambino. Babe Ruth went to the Red Sox on this day in 1914.
1914.
Some birthdays here for you, Buck. Tom Hanks.
Are we in 70s, mid 70s for Tom Hanks?
Just hit 70 today.
Ooh,
So
you're younger than the bar.
Got him by a year. Jack
Okay.
White, the White Stripes, celebrating a birthday.
50s.
He is 51.
Okay.
Yeah, you're on the nose here. How about Courtney Love?
Why am I thinking older than I'm 47?
I don't even know who Courtney Love is. Singer. Oh, the widow of Kurt Cobain.
Okay, then she's going to be 50s.
She is 62.
Ooh.
Born on this day, now dead. Oh. Orenthal James Simpson.
Oh, yeah, the juice was on the loose.
The juice is now dead. Man.
One of the great running backs and slashers of our times.
He slashed, he cut, he would do it all
Yes.
on the football field and accused of a crime he never committed.
Still, well, he would look for the killers for a while.
Hey, I'm doing it for you now, OJ. Now that you're gone, I got you. I'll find him.
He'd be gone now, huh?
I will find him. He'd be gone. Born on
What
this day now
did the
dead.
juice die of?
Cancer, right?
I think so, yeah.
Didn't the
I
C
was
word get him?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that was it. if Memory serves. And I guess today's Pete Sampras' birthday today, too.
One of my favorite tennis players, Pete Sampras.
We talked about him yesterday with Chip
Yeah.
Brown. All righty. Well, that will do it for a Thursday program.
All right, my friend, we got some soccer this afternoon.
Soccer this afternoon, France, Morocco, 3 o'clock. The quarterfinal round begins. Team USA will not be playing anymore. We know this. None of the host nations are still alive.
There'll be some controversy today.
Apparently there's Argentinian refs reffing this game, and French fans are pissed about it, and they're thinking it's Argentina catching another break. We'll see how it goes.
It's got to have controversy.
Always. All right, well, that'll do it for us. Buck on to all of you people for
yes, indeed,
tuning in today, and we will talk to y'all tomorrow.
Welcome.
Okay.